Searching for more in-depth Milwaukee Brewers content? Join in and listen to the new podcast, Brew Pod, Between the Lines, where myself, host Caden Adsit, will provide full Milwaukee Brewers coverage. I will discuss past game scores and stats, analyze individual player performances, and provide insight into current news and stories regarding the Brewers. I will mention key in-game turning points and impactful plays or at-bats that significantly contributed to the outcome. The discussed news and stories will vary from taking a look at the Brewers farm system to the injury report, roster moves, potential trade deadline acquisitions as we progress through the season, and various other stories that may pop up along the way. I will often consider other hot topics and news around the league that specifically impact the Brewers, whether it be based in the division, an upcoming opponent, etc. Towards the end of each episode, I will also develop several unique or hot takes after breaking down statistics and in-game analysis. As the podcast progresses and gets underway, the idea would be to host some episodes featuring guests. Guests will always be invited and welcome to the podcast and offer the opportunity to bounce back ideas and discuss back and forth. In addition, input from you listeners plays a vital role in allowing me to continue this podcast. A segment at the end of each podcast will be utilized to answer questions and/or discuss specific topics regarding the Brewers that can be sent to me through social media. This can be done through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. You can reach me using @brew_pod on Twitter or by searching Brew Pod Between the Lines on Facebook or Instagram. The first podcast will be recorded on the Milwaukee Brewers 2024 opening day, which falls on March 28th against the New York Mets. Following this, the structure of the podcast will follow a recording after each series, whether this is a 2, 3, or 4-game series, where we would kick off each session with the game recaps and begin analyzing further past that point. This podcast will follow the Milwaukee Brewers all season, which hopefully will continue into a late October postseason run, and from there will continue into the offseason. Be sure to make Brew Pod Between the Lines podcast part of your podcast listening all summer long. I look forward to following the Milwaukee Brewers with you throughout the season as we wrap up the last 2 or so weeks of spring training, and overall have a great time as the Brewers look to gather a 4th division title in 7 years. Thank you for listening to Brew Pod Between the Lines podcast, and we will see you next time and talk to you soon.